At this time, I'll call to order the land clearance for Redevelopment Authority of the City of St. Louis for its special meeting, regular session held on Thursday, December 28th at 2:00 p.m. Can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Commissioner Spencer?
Present.
Commissioner Jones?
Present.
And Chair McBride?
Present. Thank you. We're going to take up Resolution 23 LCRA 10836 relating to the award of contract to complete structural repairs on a garage. Can you walk us through that, please? Yeah. Rob?
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, commissioners. I'm presenting Resolution 23 LCRA 10836, which authorizes an award of a contract up to $2,034,448.90 to Western Waterproofing Company, which is doing business as Western Specialty Contractors. They were the lowest responsive bidder who submitted a proposal to do the repairs of the 400 North 6 parking structure that is owned by LCRA. As this board is aware, over the last couple of years, we've been evaluating the structural conditions of the garage, and our parking operator, which is St. Louis Parking Company, contracted with Walker Consultants to do the structural assessment. As SLDC does not have a structural engineer on staff, we looked to our short list and contracted with CDG engineers to provide an independent set of eyes and opinions on the report that Walker submitted. We then later took the final report, hired CDG to actually create construction plans and specifications. We put the project out for bid. We received 5 total bids, 2 of which were relatively close in number, one of which was significantly higher than the other bids. A selection committee was convened as appointed by Director Neil Richardson, and we agreed that Western Waterproofing was the lowest responsive bidder and are now seeking authorization to enter into a contract for up to $2.34034 million. That does include a small 10% contingency. We are anticipating that as the repair work gets completed, that additional defective areas will be identified, and given the urgency of the timing of these repairs, we're adding a little bit to the contract, but we'll only spend that money if it's actually determined to be necessary as the construction and the repairs are taking place. We do have Carter Pogue on the call, I believe, from Western Waterproofing, if there are any questions, and happy to answer any that the board may have at this time.
Thank you. Let's hear from Mr. Pogue. Carter, if you would touch on anything that Rob didn't address, and also kind of give us an overview of what your company intends to do as part of this contract.
Yeah, good afternoon. I believe up through the bidding process, Rob has everything identified. There's the garage, the repairs were put together, like he said, by a structural engineer. So we are following the plans and specifications that were provided. The work will consist of repairing the parking structure's 2 center bays on levels 3 through 6. These areas have already been identified for repair, and we will be repairing any delaminated concrete and fixing any post-tension tendons that we uncover being broke. There is a fair amount of tendons already broke in the structure. That's why there's currently shoring in place. But I believe through exploratories, they've identified more outside the current work area that we'll be working on. Our estimated project duration is 8 to 9 months. We plan on starting within 10 days of award, and we will have 2 crews running on the project throughout the duration. Yeah, as far as repair scopes go, like I said, we're following everything per the engineers' drawings and specifications.
All right, and will the garage remain open during the repair period?
Yes, sir. There is a conceptual phasing plan that was provided with the bid documents. We'll use that as a general basis. There's always modifications that get made in these projects as you go. But with the way the garage's construction is, we will be able to keep all levels open at all times with circulation of traffic with phased out work areas taken only.
All right. Any questions from the commissioners for Mr. Pogue?
Commissioner Spencer, just a question on your experience. I did a little research on your company. It seems like you've got a long history of doing this type of work, but maybe you could speak to some of the projects, similar projects you worked on in the region, and just a little bit more about your company.
Sure. Yeah, I personally have been with Western for, well, it'll be 21 years in May. So in all honesty, there's not a building in St. Louis or St. Louis County I haven't worked on, in particular parking structures. That is my area. That is that's the department that I oversee. In St. Louis, we have 3 divisions: roofing, tuck pointing, and concrete restoration. And I specialize in the concrete restoration. Our company's been around since 1915. They are to this day still locally owned and operated by a single family, the Bishop family, out of Chesterfield. Like I said, we've been around since 1915. We have 30 offices nationwide. We have approximately, in our peak, 1,500 field employees and 300 semi-monthly employees. So we are very established. We are the nation's largest restoration contractor in regards to tuck pointing and stonework. In particular, we've done all the historical structures within the United States. I mean, we worked on the Washington Monument, historical buildings in DC, pretty much every university football stadium you can name. And yeah, I think annually we do about $340 million worth of business. At least that's what we're up to now. But like I said, what I specialize in is the parking structures. I have 3 superintendents, 6 project managers, and about 60 field employees within our department. So we have a lot of financial stability, a lot of resources, and these garages is all we do. It's not something we do on the side. This is all we do. We work on nothing but garages. I mean, I could name all the garages in St. Louis. I've worked at the Keeners, Keener East, Keener West Stadium, Mansion House, Gentry's Landing, U.S. Bank. The list goes on and on. High profile projects. We've done the Courts building in Clayton. We did proton therapy for Barnes. So there's really not a building we haven't worked on. And with the resources we have, we're the strongest restoration contractor in the nation.
Very good. Well, we appreciate
Thank you.
efforts, and we appreciate you addressing these concrete structures for us. Anything else for Mr. Pogue or for Rob Orr? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve Resolution 23 LCRA 10836.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Spencer,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
and Chair McBride.
Aye.
And motion passes with all present voting aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pogue.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity.
All right, moving on to 23 LCRA 10837 relating to an agreement for security services at 3940 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Mr. Phillips.
Yes, thank
Are
you.
you walking us through that?
Yep. Good afternoon. So 23 LCRA 10837, again, as stated, is a resolution authorizing entering into an agreement for 24/7 security services at the former Killark Electrical Manufacturing Facility at 3940 Dr. MLK. So back in November, an RFP was issued for these services. And actually, I'm going to go back a little further and clarify, just if you recall, LCRA acquired this complex back in early October. And this is what is going to be contemplated as a future workforce development center and potentially the new home for the Northside Economic Empowerment Center, as well as other community services and wraparound things related to innovation and workforce development. So that is the plan. And as it's such a relatively large site, 15-acre site, we are wanting to control and protect this facility. And so 24/7 security services are required. So in November, we went out to bid for these services, and we received 8 responses, and they were evaluated by a selection committee appointed by Neil Richardson. And with the recommendation of the selection committee, out of that came the Garda World Security Management Company, Inc. And so the max amount that we are seeking authorization for an annual period is going to be $310,000, but that is the max amount. The actual amount billed will be related to the hourly bill rate, which we have of $25.56 per hour, and for the regular guards services, and then for site supervisors at $28.41 an hour. So the final amount for the annual contract will be based solely on actual hours performed. So if I will open it up for questions at this time from any of the board members.
What is the, how do we plan to staff the security? Is it going to be multiple guards that are there? Single or, go ahead.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, Garda World actually provided a couple of different options that we can select from, which would provide just one person on site 24/7, or an overlapping structure where there may be certain times of the day that would be overlapped to allow for mobile patrols, et cetera. And so those will be evaluated but the minimum service that we will have will be at least one guard on site 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Okay. And is this security, does it entail any other fencing or any other static measures?
So the fence is, the site is currently fenced, and the fence is in relatively good standing. There's a couple of areas that may need to be repaired, but the site is completely secured all the way around, either through the building facade itself or through a fence. There are motorized openings throughout the area, and that is actually where there's a guard shack at the main motorized fence opening, where the security guard will be controlling all access in and out of the facility.
Any questions from the commissioners for Peter on this resolution?
Are there any cameras on the building?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Can
Do
you?
you know if there are any cameras on the building?
There are. Actually, there's cameras inside and outside. That will also be part of this, is to evaluate the condition and number of all of the cameras we have. I've done, our own kind of inspection of what's there, but they'll also be doing a full inspection of the building and our current operations, the capacity and number of cameras, and any alarm systems, and to evaluate and provide any recommendations to go over and above what we may have in existence currently. But there are current cameras on the exterior and interior of the building.
Any other questions, Commissioner Jones?
I'm thinking I'm in court. No, Your Honor.
Commissioner Spencer.
Yeah, maybe we could get a little bit more background from SLDC on the process to determine when the work on the building's actually going to happen. This is a large contract, and there's certainly the need, but we certainly don't want to continue to pay this over an extended period of time. And I also just want to confirm that the building has been secured and there hasn't been, there been any other issues already up to this point since we've had any ownership?
To address the issue of any potential issues or problems we've had at the site currently, not that I am aware of. No, we do have a current. There is a current security company there that was the incumbent security company that from the previous owner that we did retain on an emergency basis in order to not have that lapse of security coverage. But that was temporary until we did a public procurement process, which is now coming to conclusion. But as far as I do see Mr. Orr's hand raised, so I don't want to go too far into what he may say, but I will mention that we are in the process of other activities already on site, including there's a facilities management RFP out currently for this facility that we are seeking someone to more formally manage the operations of the facility for us. In addition, we do have plans going forward, which will be for the inspection and evaluation of the building and the structure and its systems, mechanical, electrical, et cetera, that will go into our plan for building out the design of what we expect it to be. And we also have other partners involved with currently right now to help us with that conceptualization of that design. With the EPA is actually providing us some technical assistance for this project and helping us build out some of that conceptual design with some of the input of stakeholders in the community and et cetera. So they will help us with the conceptualization, and then we will take that and build it into an actual engineering and architectural design for the build out that we hope to see. And some of those things are currently ongoing. And while I don't have a date for you at this time for when it may be open and functional, I can tell you we are moving on some of the design and activity phases right now.
Great. Thank you.
Mr. Orr, is your hand still up?
I lowered it because Peter pretty much covered everything I wanted to say. But the main thing right now is that the EPA Technical Assistance Division is actually helping us identify how the building will be reutilized, where the various entities that will locate their functions in the facility, where they will locate within the building, and other potential users that might be on the site. And as Peter mentioned, they won't take it to the point of actually creating building plans for us, but they'll kind of figure out how it should be laid out and who should be what section. And then we will have a follow-up contract. We're expecting probably by the February board meeting to engage a multidisciplinary architectural and engineering team to actually take what the EPA Technical Advisory team identifies as the best use for the facility, and then create building plans and specifications that we can go out for bid to actually construct those improvements. We do think we will begin to occupy the building in phases. The LRA maintenance crew may be one of the earlier entities that will relocate to this facility as the other activities are being planned and being built. But I think Peter covered everything on that.
And so this is a max contract, and there's obviously no guarantee we'll spend all of that money, and it's basically setting us up to be able to have the full year of coverage, but there's a potential we may not need that full 24/7 coverage.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And are those hourly rates locked in for the term of this contract for the 1 year?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on this resolution? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve Resolution 23 LCRA 10-837.
So moved. Request for previous roll.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded with previous roll requested. Is there any objection to that request? Hearing none, motion passes and the resolution is approved. Do we have anything in open agenda?
Not today, Chairman McBride. Thank you.
Thank you, President Richardson. All right, well, we'll take this. The new year is coming upon us, so May you all have a happy celebration. We look forward to seeing everyone healthy and hale in 2024. Our next board meeting is scheduled for January 23, 2024. And with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We are adjourned. Take care.
Ready.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.